Welcome on today's edition of Real Talk with Amma Prempeh, live in New York City for RtvGhana. My name is Amma Prempeh, and today I have an exciting show ahead of you because of my guest, Mr. Jeffery Agyei, a renowned New York City Ghanaian artist who is taking New York City by storm with his latest art collection and book called Sankofa. I am here to talk to him about his life journey and his artwork. Thank you, Jeffery. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for having me as well.
Okay, so Jeffery, I have already introduced you to my viewers in Ghana, but I want them to hear from the main man himself. Who is Jeffery Agyei? For starters, Okyere. Do you have a home name?
Mpachai, Okyere.
Pacho Okyere to say.
Nanakojo Okyere.
Nanakojo Okyere. Okay. Enti Nanakojo Okyere. How did you grow up? How did you end up being in the city that never sleeps, New York? What was the move?
Well, for starters, family was here for many years. I pretty much grew up in Ghana. I moved when I was about 21 after college. And so the move started many, many years ago. I finally took the plunge after I finished school in Ghana. So I grew up in Accra. I went to Prempeh'S, and then after that, University of Ghana. And then I ended up in New York. I've always had dreams of, doing my art on the international, scene. So when New York came into the cards for me, I couldn't resist but, take the plunge and come over here.
Okay. And how long have you been in New York for?
About 20 years, 21 years.
Wow, 20 years.
Yep.
Long time.
Very long time.
And after the whole 20 years, you recently went to the motherland after...
Well, I had been a couple of times, but I had not been for about 10 years prior to beginning of 2022.
Right.
One of the motivating push was this Sankofa collection I just finished working on because I needed some inspiration from the motherland.
Right.
And it really helped me bring everything together in terms of some of the materials that I wanted to incorporate in the collection, and also kind of remind myself of some of the cultural relevance of the messaging that I wanted to convey in this new collection.
Right. You seem to have answered my next question, which was what inspired you to come up with this amazing collection, Sankofa collection, mixing kente and African print. So
Right.
that had to do with being in the motherland. The Ariana show it brought that inspiration out.
It really did to a large extent. I mean, the whole process started about 2 years ago, but I wanted true inspiration to really bring the whole collection together. And there's nothing more inspiring than being home and seeing how we live, see how we communicate, seeing how, especially the kente bed and the African prints that, I grew up seeing, and, just how vibrant and colorful the Ghanaian culture is. It gives you that extra push to really create. So yeah, really just being back home was a driving force to get in the collection up to par to where I felt satisfied about where it was going.
So what would you say is the importance of kente to you as a whole, or African print to you?
Well, I think kente now has become an international household name for various reasons, and the use of the fabric for me was a very humbling one. Being a native of Ghana, growing up in Ashanti, these were, very prestigious piece of history that we lived through, and now has become synonymous with the international community, and you see it being used in various forms. As a modern abstract artist, my main goal or aim was to try and incorporate, the kente especially, and also some African prints I grew up seeing into my modern style of doing art, to portray a different side of my artistic viewpoint, even though I'm a modern abstract artist, to bring these traditional motifs to life in a way that maybe the international world had never thought of or had never seen.
So, Jeffrey, talk to me more about the importance of kente and African print to you, and how you have incorporated this cloth to your latest collection, Sankofa.
I think kente really is iconic. It's historically carries a lot of weight, especially for the Ashanti people. But for me personally, I think it has become really synonymous to, as almost an identity. If you take away, the Ghanaian flag, I think one of the most recognizable motifs out there when it comes to Ghana will be the kente cloth. So using those patterns to highlight or to drive home my modern abstract art of doing things was very important for me to put not just the art but also Ghana on the international market.
Do you think the kente cloth is well marketable or marketed well in Ghana? And is that you trying to do your bit to make sure you put kente on the map? Just
really me trying to do my bit. As an artist, I really like to highlight all the good things that Ghana, Africa has to offer the world. And there's so much important cultural relevance, the history, and hence also segueing back to the name of the collection, Sankofa, which, translated to, go back to your history, because there's a lot there that we can learn in our modern setting right now that, if we don't continue to really tell our own story, somebody's going to tell it for us. So you have to really be proactive in telling your own story in the way that you know best.
Right. I agree with that. Kente has become the icon of style. It's in vogue. The late Virgil Abloh put on the covers of Vogue. He did it on the Louis Vuitton catwalk. You're seen in graduations. I've done a documentary on it. So it's really everywhere. So I'm super excited that you've incorporated it in art as well. And so it goes to my next question. What do you think is the importance of kente culture to Black Africans and people around the world?
I think it holds some relevance, not in the simplest form of just the fabric, but what it stands for and what it has meant to so many generations of African Americans that were trying to trace their roots back to where they're from. It gave them a connection point to really anchor themselves to.
Right.
So to me as an artist, it was a no-brainer in incorporating that, because it just acts as a reinforcer to the cultural relevance of that motif.
Right. So what are you trying to achieve using kente cloth and African print in your latest art collection, Sankofa, which is it's actually on display now at the Park Hyatt Hotel?
Yes. So it's really, for me, an anchor point. There is the storytelling aspect of it, which is the kente bit, and also the African print bit. These are all motifs that I grew up seeing.
Right.
And using them would really, or has really anchored or told the full story of what the cultural relevance, not just to Ghanaians, but Africans, and also Africans living overseas that are looking for something to grab onto or to gravitate towards in terms of, their history and their past, and how it plays into the overall cultural relevance of Africa and the world art market.
Right.
So placing these motifs in a very modern artwork sort of opens up this gateway for people to delve deep into the artwork and not just look at it as a piece of art, but sort of gravitate towards it for its historical relevance.
Right.
Right.
Right. It's interesting. I mean, like I said, you've got an amazing pieces of art here in your gallery on 57th Street in New York, and I'm just amazed, and I have goosebumps looking at your artwork. And I also noticed that you decided to use Proverbs.
Yes.
For this collection. What was your reasoning behind it?
So again, going back to the historical storytelling and the relevance of opening up Ghanaian culture to the rest of the world. And as you and me both know, Proverbs are some of the oral, artistic, linguistic barriers that were used to communicate. And obviously we're not losing it, but I think it has to be highlighted, especially on the international scene.
Right.
And yes, when you look at English language, it does have some idioms and proverbs in it. But I wanted to bring to light some of the Ghanaian ones that are popular, that I grew up hearing, and also use it as a bridge to connect some of these beautiful pieces you see around you. So I actually, in the book, there is the actual proverb in Chi translated into English and an explanation of the proverb.
Okay.
So it's also opening up almost a different portal into the understanding of the Ghanaian culture.
Right, right. So, for example, let's see, my viewers can see this beautiful art piece right behind us. So what was the proverb for this art piece behind us at the top?
So this particular one actually does not have a proverb per se.
Right.
But as you could tell, it has different kente motifs in it.
Right.
And I'm sure those motifs, each one of them has a name. So I use this particular piece to really introduce, or should I say reintroduce kente to the world.
Right.
So I tell a little story behind how kente came to be.
Right.
So that particular piece is sort of reintroducing kente to the world in the form of art.
Right. Well, I can see a print here which looks a bit similar to Agyei in there, which I learned whilst I was in Ghana. Agyei means design finished, and at the time when they did that, the people of Okyere thought their design was finished, but it wasn't actually finished. So that's one piece that I can see up here. So my next question for you and my final point is, what made you launch this amazing book, Sankofa Collection, our book?
So,
can you walk me through that?
Yeah, I mean, it's many years of just dreaming and
I hope my viewers can see the book, right? You're gonna give us a tour, flip through it for us to see.
It's just one of those things that many artists dream of doing, and I think nothing better exemplify, or should I say, makes me proud to say that I've used a collection that ties me directly to my home, to Ghana, to Africa, to our rich culture, than the Sankofa collection. So I decided to do an entire catalog of the collection and also tell some story about my history as an artist the last decade and how things have progressed for me to this point.
Okay. What's the retail price?
$95 US.
$95 US.
Yes.
And if someone wants to get their hands on this amazing art book, do they come here to your gallery, 57th, or is there any other place they can get their hands on?
Yes, my website, it's available on my website. Information will be provided for you if you're interested in, and you can purchase from there.
Okay. Can we open the book? I want a quick tour of the book, and particularly I want to see the artwork which you said your lovely mom helped sew the pieces together to make it an amazing piece.
Right.
I want to see Mommy's special touch in this Sankofa collection.
Well, I actually had to, so I wanted to use an actual strip of kente
Right.
in one of these pieces.
Beautiful.
So I took a strip of it
Right.
and I gave it to her, and she saw the canvas
Right.
next to it
Mm-hmm.
before I actually did the art design on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can I show my viewers? So this is the piece I was talking about. So Jeffrey's mom literally sewed this kente strip on. Is that correct? Yeah. And then you did the rest.
Yep.
So that's mommy's touch. For every mom out there, every Ghanaian mom, you know, we are proud of our kids, and we have to have the personal touch. So that was Jeffrey's mom's touch right there. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow. Obviously, Jeffrey, I need to get my hands on one of these books. So today I'll be walking away with one of these books. So that comes to the end of this interview. Mr. Jeffery Okyere, thanks for making time to talk to me today. Is there anything you want to say to my Ghana audience, Ghana for out there, our Moshe, particularly to the youth growing up who are artists like yourself? I want them to be able to look up to you and say, hey, he did it, he's in New York, he's making it, and so can I. So what message will you want to give to Obia or possibly, a struggling artist,
Right.
And for you to inspire them?
Well, at the end, yeah, when you look at it, you say
Right.
proverb.
Okay. Oh, okay. You're bringing the okay.
Exactly. So it's easy to look at your progress in life, in anything that you do,
Right.
and say, oh, nipa we di me what's I mentioned the camera, just to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
My one advice is life is a journey.
Right.
It's not a race.
Right.
Whatever it is that you're passionate about, take your time with it, invest time into it,
Mm-hmm.
put passion towards it,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of prayer,
Mm-hmm.
and just surround yourself with people that would encourage you all the time to,
Right.
follow your dreams and your passion in life. And I think that's the only thing I could say, because a lot of times we find ourselves comparing ourselves to what other people, what our colleagues have done, and
Mm-hmm.
use that as a marker
Mm-hmm.
to determine where we are going.
Uh-huh.
But like I said initially, life is really a marathon. So
Mhm.
whatever it is that you're passionate about, take your time, invest time, show passion towards it, and the results will follow.
Right. And that's the results that is following. And I know
Absolutely.
Jeffrey is very humble. He doesn't like to, brag or anything like that. So I will brag for him. So just before we wrap it up, you started off before this gallery. By the way, he has an amazing gallery on 57th Street, right?
Yes.
In New York, in Manhattan. So it's posh. So before you started this, you said you worked at the Park Hyatt?
I still do.
You still do?
I still
Wow.
actually do. work
Even
at
though you
Park
own your
Hyatt.
gallery. Yeah, so I wanted you to tell the viewers about that, because with that they can relate to it. How you worked at the Park Hyatt, and then you still had this passion of art.
Right, absolutely. So, again, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier
Mm-hmm.
in life. There's no one true way to get to what it is that you're passionate about.
Right.
And the hallmark of anybody that has been successful in life has been hard work.
Right.
Hard work always pays off. So just the opportunity to do something that you're passionate about should not be taken lightly, because there are a lot of people that never get a chance to do that.
Right.
Results might not be quick or swift, but you
Right.
need to really, be patient with yourself.
Right.
A lot of times, most of us are not patient with ourselves,
Right.
because we tend to compare and contrast
Mm.
what our situation is with
Mm.
what somebody else's is.
Mm.
So just keep at it. Just work hard.
Well, there you have it, viewers. Keep at it, work hard. You can and you will. And thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank you for having me.
Goodbye for now from New York. Talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.